Good morning, everybody. So apparently 16 hours ago on his COD Daily YouTube channel, Sargon decided to put out this video called Socialists Are Bad People at Shoe on Head. Of course, he's putting it on a COD Daily because he's pretty much demonetized on every other platform. Well done on that, buddy. And he titled it with her Twitter @ specifically so when people would share it, it would get as much of her attention as possible. Now, usually when you want to get a whole lot of attention on a video, it's because you feel like this is a video that's very important, it has a whole lot of substance, and you, especially if you tag somebody, you really want them to see it. However, this is one of the most embarrassing fucking things I've ever seen. Quentin Reviews, big YouTuber Quentin Reviews, I some of his content's pretty entertaining. Famously once made an amazingly cringy video about his favorite YouTuber that he was basically in love with, ContraPoints. That has now been unseated as the most embarrassing passion project video somebody's ever made and published of their own volition. So, yeah. We're going to watch this pile of shit, and we're going to laugh at Carl and his extremely transparent bullshit. So here we go. Oh, I should probably click on it, huh?
So this is a video that I don't relish making, and I'm not trying to cause drama or start arguments or attack anyone.
Except you absolutely are. You're just trying to use these disarming arguments, well, pretty much only for your audience, because your audience are the only ones that are going to be vapid enough to fall for your shit.
But I really think there is an important conversation that has to be had between Shoe on Head and my friend Short Fat Otaku. I've known both of these people for a very long time, since Gamergate and probably before, in fact, and I like both of them very much. I really do like...
No, you don't. You don't like Shoe. You don't like Shu. You don't like anybody who's got the wrong kind of opinions from you. You don't. You are a fucking liar. A liar. You viciously, nastily attack people because they did not follow you into the path that you chose to go. All these people always get these ideas like, why everybody, so many people have changed, blah, blah, blah. Nah, man. Nah. It's people like Carl who left. They went as far fucking right as they possibly could. Like, nah, dude, nobody else left. We're all still friends. We're all friends. We all still talk to each other behind the scenes. We sometimes fly to each other's states for birthday parties. We all hang out. It's you that's gone. You. And you did it yourself. You can't even really hide your disdain in this video either.
Both of them. But it's become obvious that Shoe on Head is becoming radicalized towards communism. And in fact, I, with my burner account on Twitter, have tweeted at her, look, dude, by the end of the year at this rate, you're going to be a communist. And she replied with never, and then deleted that tweet. And all we see now is this radical cascade into what appears to be just full communism. And I'm just staggered by it. And it's...
The example that you have brought up is on Thinner Bodies, the strawberry TikTok dress skews a tiny bit fascist. What? She's making the same kind of like basic commentary on our modern world, our contemporary pop culture, as she always has. What the fuck are you talking about? Banter on Twitter. You're triggered by banter on Twitter. You are such a fucking schoolmarm now. Jesus Christ, dude.
I don't understand her objection to woke politics without also not being a communist, because woke politics are the apotheosis of communism. They're communism applied to everything. There is no possession, no boundary, no stopping something. And this is something that
I totally forgot about that part in Capital, actually, where they they talked about fucking, I don't know, man, like what woke politics. Most woke politics these days are inconsequential bullshit about pop culture. Like, actually, we need to make sure that we have this many black characters versus this many gay characters, whatever. And if that bothers you, don't consume that product. Find different products, like we have all the choices in the world. But to say that, like, it's the apotheosis of communism, shut the fuck up. Oh my fucking God, dude.
Really should think about. I mean, this is a great example. Right? This is where this thread begins, and I'm going to take you through it because it's important.
Okay.
So Shu says, on Jezebel.com, obviously, the worst of the woke, say, on thinner bodies, the strawberry TikTok dress skews a tiny bit fascist. To which Shu rightfully says, what?
Okay.
Nonsense take. Absolute nonsense take. I mean, this is the article in question, and I mean, it's this bit here. This is the precise sort of dress that Liesel from The Sound of Music would have worn to chase a burgeoning Nazi around a gazebo at night. On thinner bodies, the dress skews a tiny bit fascist. Unreal. What
do you mean unreal? It's just dumb. You're acting like this is a fucking, like this is actually something of consequence. It's Jezebel, you idiot. The proper response is, wow, this is fucking dumb, dude. And to make fun of it and laugh about it. Not unreal. But this is probably like a symptom of fucking communism in your mind or some shit.
Unbelievable. Ridiculous proposition. And so someone replies, can we please leave 2015? Don't forget you're here forever. And this is very 2015 as well. This is an embarrassingly 2015 position to have.
So are you.
But then Short Fat Otaku's secretary on Twitter says it's also tiresome. I wish America figures out the universal healthcare so the rest of the left can be jettisoned into the fucking sun. The socialists, the tankies, the woke scolds, the SJWs, all of them. Yes. I mean, I think that a kind of populist, patriotic left is definitely possible, but that cannot be rooted in Marxism.
Okay. First of all, Mushmoush throwing together all of those fucking things to not useful at all. And in fact, I remember a very specific type of Sargon we have to be very careful with our language and make sure we're attacking the very specific things that are the problem. Also, here's the problem. Short Fat Otaku is fucking wrong. I don't care if it's a joke. I want to jettison them into the sun. Obviously, he doesn't want to jettison them into the sun. Or maybe he does. I don't know. You fucking dudes have gotten so fucking weird lately. Like, maybe you legit mean that. Maybe you do. But if you don't, okay, good. But here's the problem. They're all fucking Americans. They're all Americans. And they all get the chance to talk. They all do, whether you fucking like it or not. And I know you don't, because you're fucking British.
It cannot be rooted in socialism.
Does not fucking get this shit.
All of these things are rooted in Marxism. And so Shu says, one of these things doesn't belong. No, it does. All of these things belong. Socialism is the root of all of these problems.
You don't even know which one she has a problem with. Like, what the fuck?
Because socialism, in the modern sense, in the 18th and 19th centuries, there were pre-Marxist versions of socialism, but Marx has conquered that particular area of debate. All socialism now is essentially Marxism, and any of the
everything I don't like is actually Marxism. Yeah, I agree with you, chat. Yeah, what the fuck, man? That was the joke. That was the joke 4 years ago. Everything I don't like is literally Hitler. Everything I don't like is blah 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 blah. But nah. This is your fucking brain on right-wing politics. This is what happens when you let yourself de-evolve into just a mindless blathering dumb shit. Okay?
Socialists say, well, I'm not a Marxist socialist. Okay, yeah, you're an irrelevant socialist. No one's listening to you. But so the Sort of Fast Otaku secretary says, wait a second, Shu. In the Carlin debate, you said you didn't want to dismantle capitalism, just fund a broader safety net with taxes, and I agree with you on that. And I agree with her on that, to a certain extent. There's a deeper conversation. But anyway, have you actually gone full property expropriation? And instead of answering, she says...
Yeah, who wants to get into a fucking conversation about the finer aspects of socialist theory with somebody who thinks that anything like even remotely socialist is Marxist infiltration and they need to be fired into the sun? That sounds like a real fun fucking conversation to have, dude. Man, I can't fucking wait. Can I sign up to talk with short fat otaku for the next 5 hours of him trying to browbeat me about some shit that I honestly don't give a shit about, and I doubt Shu does either. Wow, what the? I'm shocked, bro.
That doesn't mean the socialists are bad. Now, that's very interesting, isn't it? Have you gone full property expropriation? That doesn't mean the socialists are bad. Well, I can't help but completely agree with Dev's secretary here. It absolutely...
Of course, you spoon-fed him his fucking opinion. Of course you agree. He's like a fucking squawking puppet with your hand up his asshole. Like all the rest of your fucking little dumb shits who do the same fucking thing. Who go and harass me on fucking Discord asking, have you become a fucking terrorist? Huh? Oh yeah. Yeah. Short fat fucking otaku showing up in my DMs. Hey, have you become a fucking terrorist, dude? Are you like anti-American or some shit like that? What the fuck's going on with that, dude? And I gotta fucking sit there and try and explain to him for you, because I know it was for you, because you got this in your fucking mind, like all these weird fucking bizarro ideas. Dude, just tell your buddies to stop trying to fuck with your old friends, because your old friends are not they're not gonna bend the knee to your new ideology. Okay, nobody's gonna fucking buy it. You're embarrassing the shit out of yourself.
Means the socialists are bad. Dude, the Nazis were like, we're more moral and more deserving of your property because of our race, and the socialists are, we are more moral and more deserving of your property because of our class. They're both evil. Spot on from Dev.
No, it's not. It's not even remotely spot on. It's just completely watering it down to a point that he can very, very clearly and easily articulate. When your idea of a socialist is this made-up fucking straw man, then yeah, sure, okay, yeah, this makes a good fucking... But the thing is, let's say, for the sake of argument, that I think all socialism is bad. Don't you start that. Let's say for an idea that maybe all socialism is bad, okay? That doesn't mean that socialists, people who believe in those ideas, are bad people. Maybe they're not thinking things through. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's okay to take exception with somebody saying that somebody who has an idea that they don't like should be fired in the fucking sun. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe. Like I don't.
Spot on. He is. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. He is fantastic. Like, it doesn't matter if individual socialists are friendly people. I'm sure some individual fascists were too. I mean, there are, like, Richard Spencer, his whole shtick was being polite and debonair and upper class.
So,
like,
okay.
Anyone
Jesus
can put
Christ.
on a friendly face when dealing with whoever they're dealing with. But as he says, but the hard line of extremism on the right is state worship and racial supremacy, and the hard line of extremism on the left is property expropriation. He's completely correct. Now, he gets into a bit of an exchange with some smooth-brained guy who knows nothing about this.
Okay, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here. Okay, because you're not American, Carl, and you don't live here. And hey, thank you. The only real understanding you have of like American socialists and communists is what you see regurgitated from right-wing political propagandists like fucking Tim Pool. In reality, the vast majority of communists in the United States are kind of socially awkward college kids who use like a spare faculty room in their community college, and they play the acoustic guitar, and they recite poetry about theory. And that's about it. Like, I'm sorry, but there's not like this big, overarching, looming fucking threat. It's just not there. It's not there. And regardless of whether or not you think I'm fucking a terrorist or some shit these days, which is hilariously stupid, I'm still not a communist, and I'm not a fan necessarily of communism. Do I think that there are definitely some places where you can have a socialized policy for certain things? Of course I do. That's how we pay for our fucking cops, dude. That's how we pay for our roads. We use that shit in places all over the place. And you don't have a problem with that because it doesn't fit into the narrative of your crybaby bitchy bullshit that you're trying to sell online. So that's why.
And then asks her about a stream that was done on some small communist channel called The Serfs. He says, right before you guys went on the Serf stream and went, hi guys, wow, this is cool, they were talking about the revolution, how to kill their opponents and what to do with the cops afterwards, etc. Me and Dev were watching this together because we couldn't believe just the stuff that they were saying. And then people like Anthony Fantano went on, Your Movie Sucks went on. And it's like these guys are openly discussing murder.
Wait. I want to take socialists and SJWs and blah, 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 and I want to fire them into the sun. But over there, they're cracking jokes. And you know what? I'm going to take them totally serious. Ours was not serious. Ours was a joke. Firing into the sun, that was a joke. But your other humor that it personally offends me and and I can use that as political ammunition to try and shit all over you, that wasn't a fucking joke. No, that wasn't a joke. Ours is a joke, yours isn't a joke. Rules for me, not for you, okay? Okay? Libtard, communist, cultural Marxist, blah, blah, blah. It's not even just that this is stupid and transparent. It's fucking cowardly, dude. Like, I half imagine when if you're not completely full of shit, if this is real, if you and Dev were watching this and actually got that spooked, I imagine you're sitting in a piss-stained fucking diaper right now. Because something has rotted away in your brain where now you replace anything that used to be, I don't know, objective consideration with pants shitting and wetting fear. And yes, people like Fantano and Your Movie Sucks goes on because the Serfs are pretty friendly and they were doing a good thing. They did a charity event for a trans charity. And yeah, I mean, if I had been invited, I would have gone too. Why not? Absolutely. They raised over $40,000. Oh, they told some edgy jokes. Who fucking cares? Who gives a shit? What the fuck? Sargon and the Red Menace? I know, dude.
Murder and widespread theft until everyone's property is owned by the state. And people are just going on there like this is normal. And he says, would you go on a show where Nazis talked about how best to kill the Jews? Well,
No.
what the fuck are you doing?
No, of course not.
I don't think she's responded to this, which is disappointing. And he says, listen, I'm not trying to BTFO own you. I'm trying to tell you that the people you hang around with, they're not good moral people.
Well, they're not good moral people. They're not good moral people. You know what? That's what you need, shoe on head. You need a good moral person. You know, somebody who like, well, for instance, if you were to type in Google image search in an incognito mode, UK rape MEP would absolutely not pop up with pictures. You know, you need a good moral person, You know, the kind of person that's not going to ever have to worry about when their child grows up. Everybody knows their dad as the rape guy. The fucking rape guy. That's what you need. I mean, like, I'm sorry, dude. You cannot pearl clutch this bullshit. This is so absolutely fucking embarrassing.
This is like when Chris Reagan made excuses for Richard Spencer in 2016 out of ignorance. I hope it is for you too. And I recall this. I recall watching Chris Reagan's response to this. But in 2016, no one knew who Richard Spencer was. And so, like, when he's saying, like, hail Trump, hail our people, and everyone's like, he's a Nazi, you're conditioned to be like, look, whoever they're saying is a Nazi is probably not a Nazi. It's the ultimate in the boy crying wolf. And that was, you know, totally understandable that Chris Reagan didn't just go, oh yeah, this guy's a Nazi, because you didn't know. You know, I mean, he did sound a bit Nazi-ish now that you think back on it. But again, once so many people have been accused of being a Nazi for such a long period of time, it's crying wolf.
So now it's okay to just call everybody like a Marxist and a communist. It's different now. It's totally different now. Might I also remind you that you were one of the main people trying to trying to downplay online Nazism. Everybody believed you. I believed you. I absolutely believed you until I actually had to deal with being doxxed and death threats by fucking legit online neo-Nazis for a year and a half. Like, what the fuck, dude? Come on, man.
You have to take this with a pinch of salt. Turns out that was the case with Richard Spencer, but it's also the case that the socialists are bad. Like people like Vorst, people like the Sirs, these are people who will kill people if given the opportunity. I mean, they just sit there talking about it. I'll get some clips and put them in so you can see exactly the sort of thing they're saying.
So there's this one thing that I have been thinking about a lot in terms of like abolition and I guess like a just transition out of policing in general, but like not just in a way that like, oh, I want like former killer cops to just like, you know, have a easy life afterwards after we like defund and abolish all of that, but just more like, what do we do with people who have like the skills and the tactics to be a roving murder gang when they're not employed as police? Where does that factor into discussions of abolition? But I feel like that's pretty spicy because people don't want to think about cops. And like,
that's not cancelable for me. That's just real talk.
Yeah, that's sensible. I mean,
that's what's wrong. I don't understand why he's putting this in there. That girl is basically talking about if for some reason, you know, there's the abolition or the defunding of cops, and there's a bunch of cops, people who used to be cops, who now have the skills of being a potentially murderous street gang. How do you navigate that, and what do you do with them in society? Blah blah blah. Like, train them into some other kind of career or whatever. It's just a postulation. Do they say anything spicy?
The one reason that I'm not for prison abolition is what will we do with the cops?
It's a fair question.
I'm a little nervous to ask it sometimes, especially on Twitter, because it's definitely not a place that's known for nuance. And I don't really like typing out like all the things that I'm thinking. But yeah, it's just something that I'm like, wait, have we thought about the other end of I'm nervous to ask it sometimes, especially on Twitter, because it's definitely not a place that's known for nuance. And I don't really like typing out.
I don't understand what are we listening? Why are we listening to this? Why are we listening to this, Sargon? And why did you then rewind it and they're playing this again? I'm listening. I'm gonna listen to it again. I'm doing all this live.
Typing out like all the things that I'm thinking, but yeah, it's just something that I'm like, wait, have we thought about the other end of these things? Because with revolution, there's always counter revolution. So, and I'm nervous because we're not a solid. I guess we're not a solid group with ammunition and tactics and training where, you know, if we needed to defend ourselves, right? Not yet. Yes, I want to make that clear. Not yet, but I just like, I don't see it in my immediate.
What in the world are we listening? Why is this so spooky? Why is this scary to Sargon? Well, because like some people are saying, well, we don't have ammunition and training. How long have we had to listen to these absolute, now we understand them to be cowardly fucking right-wing bitches who said that they would always take up arms against the government if the government was ever oppressive and fascistic and authoritarian. And they're just suspiciously absent now because they're pussies. But we've had to endure listening to that shit for fucking decades and decades and decades. And then like, what, some young kids are like, yo, maybe we need ammo, maybe we need training, and that makes you poop your pants? What the fuck?
Vision. So I'm wondering like how does that even happen? I think that's the cancelable part. It's just like, I might sound a little defeatist.
I guess from like the perspective of like where I sit politically, I don't necessarily think that's a defeatist attitude. I think that's a pretty like legitimate question. I think a lot of people do tend to get caught up in the sort of like fantasy world of like what it is to like do the armed thing or to do like an insurrection or to like be like anti this, anti that, and not actually like ask, well, like we have people within our society that are important, like what do we do with them, or like what can we do? And so I don't think that's cancelable. I think that's a very reasonable thing, and I think people just need to have this conversation. I think a lot of people personally just uncomfortable with revolution, like in general, because like there are people that are going to lose more. Like even like we see this at protests, right? So like you'll have like white people protesting, but then like if there are like people like BIPOC people at the same protest, they're going to get like higher forms of reciprocity than like white protesters. So you have to like consider like, is your activities going to get like those more vulnerable populations?
Why in the fuck is this included in Sargon's video? What exactly is he taking exception with in this? Is this like, because I want to be as open and fair as possible here. I'm gonna kind of like just push it. Okay, he does come back in like a minute. Okay, because I'm waiting for the spice, dude. You're saying that there's spice in here and there's something that you're like taking extreme objection to. I don't fucking hear it yet.
Like in trouble. So yeah, it's just the nature of that. So yeah, I don't think it's cancelable. I think it's
yeah. I feel like that's like like a big thing. Like I know friends who will like talk about like revolution as if it's like, yeah, no, like this will be like an easy thing to like get like so many people on board with, as if it's hard for like left-wing candidates to even get like elected, let alone like how many people do you think are actually willing to die in a civil war to fight for those, let alone like if they aren't even voting for them. Like it is such a far away goal that not that it's like wrong to want to like be thinking about that, but also to like act as if that's like a far gone like easy thing that we'll get to in any reasonable amount of time, I think is very unrealistic.
Okay.
It's actually incredible that a bunch of people are getting...
What the fuck? What was wrong with that? What in the world? Chat, did anybody hear anything that was exceptionally troubling or whatever? Or was it a bunch of people who were like, okay, well, look, if things are getting really bad, like, how do you navigate this? How do you navigate that? And I guess to maybe, like, Grandma Ethel, you know, who doesn't understand, like, that might be kind of spooky sounding a little bit. But at the same time, in the context of, well, they're on the other side of things for decades and decades. We've had all these guys talking about how they're going to have an armed insurrection against the fucking government. Blah, 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 yeehaw! Like, no, I'm sorry. It doesn't track. It doesn't even come close. What the shit? They said, what do we do with unemployed cops? Yeah, that's it. What do we do with them? Like, what the fuck?
Getting on board with murderous extremists who actually have the intention of overthrowing capitalism, taking everyone's property, and making us all serfs of the state.
Okay, murderous? Who was talking about murder? 2, overthrowing the state is like not what anybody wants to do. Nobody wants to do that. That's an awful thing to have to happen. Instead, things like protests are used to hopefully try and put pressure to enact change. That's it. Like, I don't know where in the fuck you're coming. Look at this face. Do you think he really, well, of course he does. Of course he thinks that people actually buy this bullshit. This absolute pussification fucking bullshit. Because he's got the audience for it, and they'll eat this shit up. Oh my God, like hungry little piggies.
That is literally what a socialist government does. It removes your property rights. So it removes your ability to have an income independent of the government, the socialist one-party dictatorship government, and they will determine every economic aspect of your life from this point onwards.
That's so weird because there are actual socialist countries right now that don't do that. They do enact a whole lot of pressure, and I don't want their forms of government here if it was up to me. But, like, even by your own example, the thing that you're trying to sell, there are countries right now that are socialist, and they don't look like that. Like, this all relies on Sargon trying to sell people on the idea that anything with the big S word means it's going to turn into the USSR. Like, what the fuck, man?
This is awful. Awful in every fucking way. And so when she was just like, well, the socialists, that doesn't mean socialists are bad. No, that does mean socialists are bad. That's why people flee socialist countries. Socialism is not universal healthcare. That's not what it means. The Scandinavian countries are not socialist. European countries are not socialist.
See, and then you're splitting hairs too. The Scandinavian countries absolutely use socialist policies. They do. They just still maintain democracy. But you don't like making that distinction because those policies work really well in those countries. Now, here's an actual nuanced opinion for you from somebody who's not trying to push a political narrative. And that is, well, those policies work a lot better because they're a lot smaller in population. We have a lot of problems in our country. Do I think that we could enact those? Not without a whole lot of upheaval, financial instability, change. It would be very difficult. Do I think we still should? Probably yes. Probably yes. But these countries are still fucking capitalist. And yeah, see, Soul Man up in the chat. Social welfare programs do not necessarily mean that a country is no longer capitalist. Okay? That's not what that means. And just because some people scream that they want to dismantle all capitalism and adopt full-blown like socialism doesn't inherently mean that they're bad people either. It just means that that's their opinion, whether you agree with it or not.
You don't win in these countries by calling yourself a socialist. Jeremy Corbyn had a landslide defeat from calling himself a socialist.
Who cares?
Socialists are something abstract, ideological, revolutionary, and dangerous. The 20th century has shown us this. Socialism is the most dangerous thing that humanity has ever created.
Really, how many socialist mass murders have we had over the past 5 years? How many left-wing mass murders have we had over the past 5 years? I'll wait. Like, I just, please, by all means, like, get me that number, stat, ASAP, man. Yeah, 100%. Or you're full of shit.
And you're accidentally falling into it because these assholes on the radical left are love bombing you and saying, "Oh, this is the only way you're going to get universal healthcare. It's the only way." No, it's not the only way you're going to get universal healthcare.
What do you think universal healthcare is?
Didn't become socialist, and we still have universal healthcare. This is not the only way to.
Socialism as a full-blown ideology and method of governance versus socialist policies like universal healthcare. You enjoy a socialist policy, which is universal healthcare.
Do things, and I don't think it's going to get done. I think that Donald Trump's going to win significantly because of this sort of slide towards the radical left. But dude, you've got to ask yourself, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? What are you trying to go for? I mean, ask them honestly what they want, what their ideal world looks like. And I tell you what, man, it's going to involve guillotines, which is what we're seeing in Portland, the most radical expression of socialism. Because, and I have to stress.
You know what? I will start agreeing with you when we actually start cutting people's heads off. Once I start seeing that happening on the streets of America, maybe I'll believe you. Meanwhile, I can say that the extreme right-wing ideology is a murderous ideology, and that, in fact, murder and, in many ways, genocide are actually a fundamental component of things like fascism, because they are, and because they do kill people, and they have still been killing people the whole time. Policies loved by your buddy, Millennial Woes, aka the God Rod, who you so lovingly would like to go onto his show every Christmas. We don't got to talk about weird connections, though. It's only Shoe's connections, okay, to the socialist that makes Sargon poop his pants. But we don't talk about any of your connections, okay? All right. Steve Bannon, ooh boy, ooh.
This Marx thought socialism was merely a step on the way to communism. The point is that we abolish private property, first of all by collectivizing it all within the power of the state, and then educating the populace, apparently, to no longer needing the state, and the state withers away, and we're left with our communist utopia where nobody owns anything.
I forgot how boring you are. Jesus Christ.
Nobody ever gets past the collectivizing all property and tyrannizing an entire society, which is why the socialists look exactly like the fascists in practice. Exactly.
You always have to make that argument, and I love it when you do, too, because, like, it's that's the most transparent fucking thing in the world.
Yeah, he is.
Hey.
Hope I'm not interrupting anything.
Also, Sargon is garbage.
Yeah, he really is garbage. Thank you, buddy.
And it always does. Every socialist country looks exactly that way. And it's why they've got guillotines. Just, again, the French Revolution was the first communist revolution. The Paris Commune is the first example of this. And they're burning an American flag, man. Are you on board with people who burn American flags?
Yes. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And you know why? It's very simple. I'm so glad you asked. Oh my God. Sargon, you have no idea what you're talking about. This is why I love shitting on you so much. You're so vapid and out of fucking touch, you don't even know what you're fucking talking about. Are you on board with people burning the American flag? Yes, bitch. Yes, of course I am. Burn the motherfucker. Burn it as much as you want to. That's the spirit of our country. That's what you don't understand, and you're never gonna understand. Because you're some fucking English ball licker who still bows to a queen. What the fuck is wrong with you or your antiquated bullshit? You're a fucking Cro-Magnon to the rest of us. To Americans, you're nothing but primordial, unevolved ooze, okay? You fucking moron. Protest is the spirit of our country. Protest is how America was founded. We kicked you dumb fucks, the fuck out of our country. And since then, we've grown into the most dominant force on the fucking planet. A powerhouse of culture, of innovation, technology, economics. We've managed to do that, all based upon our one very distinct spirit. We rebel for our freedom. We embrace freedom. And one of the most pure examples that you can have of freedom as an American is to protest those institutions that make the country what it is. You get to say, fuck the president, fuck Donald Trump, fuck America, fuck people in power, fuck the cops, fuck the pigs, fuck the flag, fuck whatever it is. And none of that makes me un-American. None of it does. I love my country. I wear fucking American flags on my shit all the fucking time when I'm rocking my Antifa gear. Why? Because I love this fucking country. And I love the spirit that comes from it. I love that spirit of rebellion. I love how much of a shit starter we can be. I love it. And one of the reasons why I criticize it so much, you remember back in the day, buddy, when we talk about all those times, like, you know, it's because we're liberal, which is why we critique and criticize the left. And I believed you, being classical liberal, that you were actually like on the same side as me. But that was the whole thing, you know, because we love our side, our politics so much. That's why we criticize that. Well, the thing is, I meant it, you didn't. You were a lying sack of shit. I'm not. I love America. That's why I criticize America. And you'll never understand that because you're a fucking idiot. Anyway, let's finish this piece of shit.
Are you in favour of lighting the symbol of your country on fire?
Yes!
And it's not the flag itself. Who gives a fuck? They're burning your flag. They're burning the symbolism of it. They're burning what it represents.
Fuck you.
Which is individual liberty. Your personal rights. And part of your rights is owning your property.
See, you know, you need to you need to maintain your sense of personal choice and responsibility by not doing the things that you choose to do. Because I'm English and that makes sense to me.
I mean, do you think your property should be appropriated? Do you think it should be taken away from you? Can you find a way to defend the United States of America at this point?
Yeah.
That's what you have to ask yourself.
That's what we're doing.
And if you can't, why not?
That's what we're doing, dude.
Has the United States never done anything good? You know, you've got to really ask yourself where you're going with this. Because I'm looking at... This is not the person I knew from back in the day, man. Like, the things that you're on board with and the people you're hanging around. Like, the serfs are totally in favor of this.
She still hangs out with all the same people we all hung out with back in the day. We're all still friends. You left. You changed. You and your fucking crazy-ass right-wing policies running off to do this fucking weird, I'm gonna go tank an entire political party and make an absolute embarrassment out of myself and my family. You left. You fucked up. You fucking changed, dude. What the fuck?
That's right. They're totally in favor of all this. Vorsh is in favor of all this. Like, this is what they want.
Jesus
They're not
Christ.
shy about saying it. And it's wild how Twitch will allow these revolutionaries to stream all day going, yeah, we're going to kill the cops. We're going to get rid of all the...
Prove that they said they wanted to kill the cops. Because you didn't put it in this video. I didn't hear it. Maybe they did. You didn't show it.
Fascists, quote unquote. We're going to exterminate the undesirables. There's a certain segment of the population who need to be killed, and Twitch are like, yeah, no problem.
When did they say that? Who said that? In fact, the only person in your video that has expressed ideas of a certain type of genocidal nature was Short Fat Otaku saying like he needed to launch people into the fucking sun. And that was obviously a fucking joke. But if you're going to start making these veiled threats that maybe people need, your audience, your dumb fuck mindless seal like their audience is going to bombard Twitch to try and get some of these people deplatformed, because that's what it sounds like, Bubba.
You know, but did you insult some woman? Did you misgender someone? Whatever it is, deplatform. You know, and I don't follow Twitch at all, so I don't know who the content creators are. But I hear, like Dr. Disrespect, some guy with millions of followers, just gone for no reason. No one knows why. He doesn't know why, and it's just like, right, okay. But
so you're just gonna say things because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. He gets more viewers now on YouTube because he decided to make that switch. It's like you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. You like Tim Pool at this point. You read the fucking headlines and you never actually read the article. What the fuck, dude?
These people are okay. These people are right. And again, like I hung out with Anthony Fantano in 2017. He was an amazing guy. Really nice guy.
Yeah, doesn't like you
and then he went
much
full
anymore.
AOC and was like, no, everyone's a right-winger and everyone's evil. And he's going on the surface as
You are a right-winger. You are a fucking right-winger. What the fuck?
well. I'm like, dude, this is not the person you want to be. This is not, I don't think that you think you're being good people.
I think I figured
when
it out.
you pal around with these people.
I think he's jealous.
I mean, you don't see me hanging out with the fucking Nazis, do you?
You do. Every fucking Christmas you hang out with the fucking Nazis, you idiot. You do. You absolutely do. I watched you for like a year do everything that you could to try and build your way into the good graces of the alt-right. You even went on record as saying that like going for the alt-right serves you and your family better than following along leftist leaning ideology and politics. Like, you said these things. You fucking said them. You lying motherfucker. You lying motherfucker. What the fuck?
You don't see me going on their streams and palling around. The only
do!
alt-right person I'm friendly with is Millennial Woes. And I know that my interactions with him have de-radicalized him over time.
Oh,
That's
shut the
reason I
fuck
hung out
up.
with him.
No, what de-radicalized him was people finding out that he was bisexual and the rest of the alt-right making fun of him. You didn't do shit.
To expressly continue to challenge his ideas.
Lying
That's
sack
not why
of
you're
shit.
going on the surfs.
You
That's not why your
liar.
movie sucks is going on the surfs. That's not why
Liar.
Anthony Fantano is going on the surfs.
Fucking liar.
You guys are not challenging these ideas. And it's one of those things I'm getting really concerned about because
They went on for a charity for trans kids. You lying propagandist. You absolute cowardly piece of shit.
this is craziness and it is leading to the end of your republic. I know you might be, that's hyperbolic. When Donald Trump gets a landslide win in November, because nobody's voting for the left with this kind of imagery being plastered everywhere.
Oh, man.
When he gets that landslide win, I mean, after the George Floyd protests, riots, burnings, lootings, shootings, like murders that occurred because of a false narrative about George Floyd.
Remember when you said Heather Heyer died of a fucking heart attack? Ain't nobody should be listening to you about the actual real realities of these things that happen in American current events. I'm sorry. You have gotten things wrong so many fucking times, it's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. Sorry, dude. Nah.
When Trump wins, again, in November, from a bigger margin, what do you think these people are going to do? It's not going to look pretty, is it? And you're putting your name to this.
Well, then maybe you should vote for Biden. Keep our cities safe. Vote for Biden. That's a joke. Just so we're clear.
When you get into bed with the socialists. And the
Vote
socialists
for
aren't
Biden,
bad, they're
though.
bad.
Yeah, we have
They're bad
to.
people.
Sorry.
They're
I
really
don't like
bad
it,
people.
but, you know.
And I don't think you're a bad person. Anthony Fantano, I don't think you're a bad person either. Your movie sucks. I know is a good person. I've been watching his channel for years. He's awesome. And it's...
Yeah, he probably thinks you suck, too. Probably all these people really think you fucking suck. Do you understand, Sargon? We all don't like you anymore. Nobody fucking likes you anymore. Nobody does. You got weird, dude. We all still like each other. We all hang out. I was at Adam's house like right before the COVID happened. Like, nah, dude, it's you. Sorry, it's not us. It's you. It's you.
Weird how they all go and think that it's okay to hang out with murderous revolutionaries. I think it's terrible. I think it's
just
really
terrible. Clutch the wig.
Shocking, frankly, how everything's become radicalized. But anyway, I'll leave it there. And I don't think any of them will respond to this, but it's a shame because I think that they should. I think they should explain to us why these people are worth hanging out with, why we should take their ideas seriously.
See, he's gonna just play this clip of like a bunch of black bloc people doing some stunt in a street, and he's going to vaguely allude to the people in this live stream that didn't say anything like what he's talking about, even remotely close, are like these people on the street. This is like so transparent propaganda. I feel bad for kids that actually still believe and buy into his bullshit because, eventually you'll grow out of it, kids. Everybody does.
Why we can't look at the tremendous damage to humankind that these people have done and the complete lack of results as well. They've never achieved their goals and say, why are we listening to these lunatics? Anyway, folks, if you'd like to support the channel, you can check out our merch store and the latest stuff done by Johnny and...
Oh my god, dude. Do you say anything more about Shu? I don't give a fuck about your stupid merch. Your merch sucks anyway, dude. It looks like shit.
And I tell you what, man, all I'm seeing these days is Yuri going, well, we go in, we demoralize people, we are destabilizing things, which I think we can say that's going on. Crisis, which I think is what's going to happen after the election in November, and then whatever normalization looks like, God only knows. But this is what we're looking at, and I don't know why we're not just openly calling that out. Because again,
everything is cultural Marxism, everything is socialism, everything is a left-wing conspiracy, and you have to call it all out.
Still the kind of centrist liberal that I've always thought of myself. My principles haven't changed. The things that I want haven't changed.
You are
I just
not a
want
liberal.
The communists to goddamn well stop.
Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. Everybody, I'm really sad. I'm really sad because this girl that I'm really thirsty for, she's hanging out with the people I don't like. Boo-hoo. She's never gonna fuck you, bro. She's never gonna fuck you. That's all there is to it. You're on the wrong fucking side of this. You're an embarrassment. This is now more cringy than Quentin Review's video about ContraPoints. You are now even more hilariously a cartoon character to be mocked and made fun of. I'm sorry, dude, but this is fucking pathetic. This is absolutely fucking pathetic. This is low T, low IQ, lazy shit dick propaganda. Nobody's fucking buying it. And of all people to try and try and like leverage against Shoe on Head. Really? You really think that one through, champ? You really fucking think that one through? She ain't gonna fuck you.